What is up YouTube? This is Golden Sage Rider. I'm here back with another video, but on today I will make it super short, which I will go over the 2022 ZX10-R and the new TFT dash and the functionalities, and then what are the buttons on the handlebar and how to activate your modes and how to get to different rider modes. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so every time I post a new video you will be notified, as well as drop a like, dislike, drop a comment in the section down below. And without further ado, let's get to the business. So as I was saying, 2021 and 2022 ZX10-R came out with that TFT dash automatically on the bike, and they got rid of that old tachometer, which was about 10, I would say, or 15 years old. All right guys, so on the left hand side we have the modes up and down. We have this thing which is used for tracks and laps, and then you're changing between your throttle pressure as well as brake pressure, and that is your cruise control, which I have on my first ride and impression of the 22 ZX10-R video how that works, but I will post a separate video of me riding the bike and we'll go over how the cruise control work. And underneath there's a reset button which will go back to the ride menu. This is your the signals, right, left, your hazard lights, and underneath it's your horn. The right hand side you only have your kill switch and start button and your select. So let's go ahead and open the ignition. Man, that's really sexy. I love it. So basically that's your initial look, that's your main as you open the ignition, that's what you get into, which I will go over it. The main page actually comes in two different colors. So by this button right here, as you press that, it'll change that to your day mode. Let me get the camera to focus. There you go. So that's your day mode and that's your night mode by pressing this reset button. So see, that's like you can toggle over what's on the screen. So basically I will start from the left. So that is your gear indicator right here, which is super explanatory. Your modes are up here. That is your tachometer, and this is your throttle control pressure, which is over here. Like as you twist the throttle, that goes up. That's how much you twist the throttle. See, that's your throttle. And then pay attention to this thing right here. See, as you twist it, that's like how much pressure you have on throttle. And this thing over here, of course, it's your mileage, which I'm already at 700 miles. Total time, so the total time, that's how much you've been on the bike or the bike has been on. That's your temperature, that's your engine temperature, and that's outside temperature. That's hour, like a clock. And that, if you have the Rideology app, then you can, with Rideology app, you can go ahead and control that. So if you have any call, text, or email, this will tell you, which in a separate video I will go over the Rideology app and how that works. By holding down the select button right here, you just hold it down for a few seconds and that goes to the menu. So, and then from the top we have the vehicle settings. So once you get to the menu, in order to select any of these options, so how to go up and down with these buttons right here, which is, it says, come on camera, I have to get it to focus. There we go. So with this, you can go up and down on the options, which like whatever option you want to choose to go with right here. And then let's say if you want to click on one of these options, you just hit the select button right here, and then you go to it. So the first option is the vehicle settings. So on vehicle settings, that is your shift lamp, which you, and then again, you can go up and down with these. And so there is two options right here. These two and these two. So these two are only used for cruise control purposes, but in order to toggle around the menu, you would want to use these two. So as I'm gonna get it like a little, man, I hope I could get to focus on one of these. See, that's how you go up and down on these. So let's say the first one in vehicle settings is that the shift lamp. So you have, and that is your shift lamp up here. Like this is super perfect. Like it turns white. There's only one color for that. So let's say you want to change your shift lamp. You want to keep it on or off. Then you just click on it or select it, and then you want it on or off. So if you want it off, you just go off and you select it off, so it remains that way. And then how to go back on the menu. Let's say you're done with this part of the bike and you want to go back to the home page or to the previous menu. Basically, you go to that reset button right here. The reset button is your back, so you hit that and it goes back to your previous screen. And then after that, you have your KQS, which stands for Kawasaki Quick Shifter, which you can have it, but if you select that, you can have it on or off. And then for 2022, it's up and down on a quick shifter. And then after that, you have your KEBC, which is Kawasaki engine braking control. By selecting that, technically you have off option and then light. So off, it's you still have, so in this option it's a little bit tricky. So once it's off, you actually have more engine braking than when it's light, because if you select light, you have less engine braking. So your next option is KLCM, which is Kawasaki Launch Control Management. So on that one, once you select that, you have three options. So number one is the least, number two it's at 8,000 RPM, and number three it's at 9,000 RPM once you release it for the launch control. So next option is your rider mode, which in rider mode you don't make any changes on here, but I will get to it in a minute how that works. So if you have it on, then once you go back to your actual main screen, you see up here it says rider 1, and so there is rider 1, rider 2, rider 3, rider 4, and there is rain mode, road, and sport, which I will get to them all of them. But technically, if you have your rider mode on which I showed you, by clicking select over here, just click it once. Oh, come on. Just by clicking it once, these are your rider mode. So basically, again, click on it, and so let me go back, so I'll show you how to get to here. So on your select button over here, if you hold it for a few seconds, it's gonna go to your actual menu. But if you go only push it once, just like that, it's gonna go to your rider mode. So the rider modes, on here you can create your own riding style. So let's say by selecting number 1, you can say like, I want in rider mode, you want and then you have to select it again. So you see the power, this thing, once this thing turns green, then you get to select in between the options. So you see, you wanted medium power, full power, or low power, or you actually go down. So it's full, medium, or low. And then by selecting it again, you get to go down and select your traction control. So once you click on it, this thing remains green. So you can select your traction control, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So 5, it's for wet roads and on rainy days. 4, it's kind of for like a wet-ish roads. In road, 3, it's mainly for if you drive around the city. And then 2, if you're driving the city but you're going a little aggressive and taking the turns and twisties. And 1, it's for like basically you have the least amount of traction control. So that's how you choose your rider modes. And let's say I want my rider 1 to be at low power with 3 traction control over here, and then my rider 2, see, you will see it as I have already preset on here. So my rider 2, it's a medium power with 3 traction control. Rider 3 is full power with 3 traction control, and then rider 4, it's full power with 1 traction control, which is the least amount of traction control. So that's how you do it. So after the vehicle settings, we have the display. So when you go to display, the display will give you a different look. So the top, it's mode 1, mode and type 1, and there's only 2 type 1 and type 2, and the bottom is your brightness. So if you click on the mode, you see, once you're on the type, it can, once you're on the type, it kind of gives you how your tachometer will look like. So type 1, it's like this, which is revving this way, and the second one would be like that, which if you click on it and go back to the main screen, it'll change your tachometer to this. And also, again, like I said, with this you can go to day and night mode. So that's your day mode, that's your night mode, which this is mainly used for track. As you see, there's a lap, your best lap, and I'll show you guys how that works as well. The third one is date and clock, which is super self-explanatory. Like it's I don't think I have to go over that. You just format it the way you want, however you would like that. And the fourth option would be your service, which you click on it. So basically, by having that on, you go on it, you go up. So this is like one of the real cool feature that comes with the bike. It tells you when is the time to do it and all of that, and it tells you when to do that. See, by 75, 100 miles, and when is the day to do that, which is like super cool. I love that option, man. And the fifth one is your Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth, it's when you turn it on and then you use the Rideology app in order to log your rides and then check your settings and your gas and everything, which I said I will go over the Rideology app in a little bit of how that works. So if you have your Bluetooth on, so basically it's on and off option for your Bluetooth. And then if you go down to pairing would be limited. So there is limited and open. So once it's open, it can catch any phone or any Bluetooth, but when it's limited, it's only limited to one phone, which would be your phone in this case. And that's my iPhone name. And the regulatory, that's just like the licensing of the Bluetooth and this dash and everything, which, I mean, I don't think that's anything special, but that's what it is. And the very last one is the units. So the units, that's where you want to change your speed from mile to kilometer, just in case you are in European countries or countries that use their metric. And then fuel mileage, you can go from mile per gallon in United States to mile per gallon in UK, which is United Kingdom. And last one is the temperature, which you can go from Fahrenheit to Celsius by changing that, which is super cool. Like, just in case we're in California, and then if you travel to Mexico or places like that, then you know your way around. Rider modes are up here, and then let's say you're riding and all of a sudden you already have your presets and you want to have like less traction control and more power. So by holding the mode buttons over here, like hold it for a few seconds. So let's say if you hold it down for a few seconds, it's going to go to rider 2, which is what? Which it has like a medium power with 3 traction control. And then if you hold it down again for a few seconds, it's going to go to rider 3. If you hold it again, it's going to go to rider 4. So, and you can do that while you're riding the bike. It will allow you to do that. The old ZX10-R, which I had, did not allow me. You had to stop fully or less than 5 miles an hour in order to make any changes in the power mode. So, and then that's your fourth. And then if you want to go to your sport, then you hold it up for like I think 3-4 seconds. You go back, and then again. You see, that's how you go around your menu. So, and then rider 1. So once you hold it up, so you're in rain mode. So under rain mode, it's automatically, I believe it's low power with traction control 5, which is the most amount of traction control. So these rain mode, sport mode, and road, you cannot modify the power or the traction. So they're already pre-filled from the factory. So that's your rain mode. And then if you hold it up for a few seconds, then it's gonna go to road mode. I believe, I'm not sure that's the exact information. It is on the owner's manual. And then if you hold it a few seconds, and then you have the sport mode. And sport mode, it's traction control 1, which is the least amount of traction control with full power. So that's how you go through the modes. And that's it for the modes. And now let's get to the other part of the bike. So let's say when you're on the main screen, you want to go over the things, because the total time and odometer can change to different stuff, and that will be changed by going up and down on these two. But instead of holding them this time, just like push it once and it goes back to what it was. So from mileage, you go up once, and basically how that works, if you touch the top part, the top portion will change. Just like, I hope you guys can see it. See, the top only changed the top and the bottom only changed the bottom, which is really cool. So I'm gonna start from the top. So basically, first it's the mileage. Second is your trip A and trip B, the same trip B, and then you have your lean angles, which will save your lean angle, and you can also pre-fill that on your Rideology app, which I will go over it in another video. And then next one, it's your latest lean angle, which on the left I had 29 degrees and on the right I had 27 degrees. And after that, it goes back to the mileage. And then on the bottom, it is your fuel, how much fuel you have used, and then the average speed and the total time and the battery voltage and mile per gallon in United States. And pretty much this is it. And let's say on the top you want to reset your trip A, your trip B, you go on it, and then the reset button over here, you hold it for a few seconds, you see, it'll resets it for you. You just hold onto it and it resets. And then, oh, sorry. So you hold onto it again. Once it's blinking, you hold it again, it'll resets it for you. So, and then you want to reset your trip B, you hold it again, it blinks, you'll hold it back again, and it resets. And then let's say you want to reset your lean angle. Again, you hold it for a few seconds, it blinks, and you hold it another few seconds and it'll erase everything. And of course you cannot delete your mileage. And now let's get into the bottom portion of it. The bottom portion of it, the new Kawasaki ZX10-R, or even I had the previous generations of ZX10-R, they don't come with gas gauge. However, they come with this little thing. It says fuel. That's how much fuel you have used so far. Let's say, for example, if the full tanks fills, let's say 4 gallons, so far I've used 1.6 gallon. So every time I get a gas, I reset this, and then by resetting that, you just go on it, hold the reset button, and then it just resets, just like that. So every time I get a gas, I just reset it to 0, so I know where I am. That's how you manage your gas, and basically that's the gas gauge that you have for the newer ZX10R or previous ZX10R, which I wish it had the gas gauge, but they just don't come with it, and that's how you control it basically. And the next option is your average speed. You just hold it down again, and then it just resets again. And then the total time is how long the bike has been running or it's been on. Even if the bike is not running and you turn the ignition on, that's just the time you have the bike on, but which you can also reset that by holding it down. Let's say you want to know how long you've been riding, then you just press on that. And the battery voltage, you cannot reset that in mile per gallon, which we've already been through it. So let's say you guys are in a track and you are on this screen and you want to use the lap time. So how lap time works on the old ZX10R, there used to be a push lap on this side, which you, every time you would press it once, it would change your lap time. But on a 22 and 21 ZX10R, it's different. So in order to start that, this button over here that's how you start your lap. So I'm gonna get it far. I hope you get to see it. So by pressing that, your lap starts, right? And then by pushing that, it all stops. So start, stop. So the functionality I just told you about, like if you push the mode the mode buttons up or down and hold it for a second, it'll change your rider mode. It'll also applies to this. So let's say if I hold it down for a few seconds, it's gonna go to road, it's gonna go to rain, and then it's gonna go to the rider 1, which it will tell you more detail about what's your power and what's your traction control. So that's how it works. If you are wondering how to set up your launch control on the new Kawasaki, whether you're on this screen or this screen and you want to use your launch control. So in order to activate your launch control, you must be on sport mode only. So your launch control comes on only on sport mode or when you are in a full power mode. So let's go ahead and get it to the sport mode. So the launch control only comes on when you're on sport or full power mode. So in order to activate your launch control, on any of the displays, whether on this one or the track one, then you just hold the mode facing up and the select button together for like 4 or 5 seconds, and the launch control comes up. You see, once you hold those two together, you will see this, which it says Kawasaki launch control management is on. And then that way, then you can go ahead and use your launch control. So if you like my content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have 2 more videos coming up. One, which is my carbon fiber fuel gas cap, and my next video would be about the pure sound of 22 ZX10-R, which is this model, which I have the integrated microphone in the tail of the bike underneath exhaust, which will give us the pure and the clean sound of that. And stay tuned. Like I said, if you like my content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so every time I post a new video or content, you will be notified. And if you have any question or anything, make sure you ask me in the comment section down below. And until next video, guys.